Welcome to this explainer. Imagine waking up one morning and suddenly realizing that a machine can write complex essays, build highly functional software code, compose beautiful music, and, well, hold a conversation with you that feels almost entirely human. Just a decade ago, that was pure science fiction, literally movie magic. But today, it is an everyday reality for millions of people. Students, doctors, developers, and designers are all integrating this powerful tech right into their daily workflows. And at the absolute center of this massive technological transformation is one single organization, OpenAI. Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for today. First, we'll look at the pre-AI era, followed by founding for humanity and their years of silent research. Then we'll hit the ChatGPT breakthrough, map out the global AI race, and finally look at the unwritten future. But before we rewind the clock, we really need to anchor ourselves with a massive, absolutely fascinating question. How exactly did a small, nonprofit research lab become one of the most influential technology giants in the entire world? How did this specific group of people manage to change the trajectory of humanity so incredibly fast? To answer that, we've got to set our baseline. Chapter 1. The Pre-AI Era. And this brilliantly illustrates just how far we've come. Think back to the early 2010s. The underlying technology was, frankly, severely limited. Voice assistants really struggled with even the simplest of queries, and translation algorithms relied on this rigid, rule-based coding that caused some pretty hilarious mistakes. But today, thanks to massive leaps in deep learning and neural networks, we have generative code and conversational agents that process complex nuances instantly. It's a completely different world. Back then, major tech players, we're talking Google, Facebook, Microsoft, Amazon, were all pouring heavy investments into early AI. But the biggest concern hanging over the entire tech industry wasn't just about winning the race or making a quick buck. It was about safety. Could we actually control these algorithms once they reached a certain threshold of intelligence? That was the multi-billion-dollar question. Chapter 2, Founding for Humanity. So, in December 2015, a group of prominent technologists and engineers announced OpenAI. And here's the kicker. They didn't launch as a commercial product factory aimed at maximizing profits. Not at all. They started strictly as a nonprofit organization focused purely on fundamental machine learning research. They knew AI was going to be one of the most powerful technologies ever created, and they wanted to build it very, very carefully. Their core mission was incredibly clear from day one. Advance artificial intelligence in a way that benefits all of humanity. The founders recognized that if it was developed irresponsibly, advanced AI posed some pretty severe global risks. But if guided carefully, this technology could radically transform medicine, revolutionize education, and absolutely supercharge engineering. The ultimate goal was to make sure society as a whole reaped the benefits. Moving right along to Chapter 3, Years of Silent Research. During these early, quiet years, there were no viral apps, no massive public releases. Instead, researchers were heavily focused on tackling complex problems behind the scenes in areas like reinforcement learning, robotics, and specifically NLP, natural language processing. This is a highly complex branch of AI where they train deep neural networks on huge data sets. The goal? To help computers actually understand, interpret, and predictably generate human language by recognizing intricate patterns, rather than just reading raw, predefined code. So, the crucial point is that this silent period was actually a massive, escalating technological progression. Each successive language model they built was trained on exponentially more data, using vastly more parameters, and utilizing staggering amounts of compute power. Seriously, we're talking about computing power that could run small cities. They were quietly stacking these technological building blocks, laying down the foundation for a breakthrough that would soon shake the entire world. Which brings us to Chapter 4, the ChatGPT breakthrough. Millions. When ChatGPT launched publicly in late 2022, it acquired millions of signups in mere days. For the vast majority of the public, this was their very first real interaction with advanced artificial intelligence. And it wasn't some clunky, frustrating voice assistant anymore. It was an interface that felt intelligent, responsive, and endlessly capable. The adoption rate was so rapid, it literally made headlines around the globe instantly. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the sheer immediate utility of the breakthrough. Users weren't just playing around. Actually, scratch that, they were playing around, but they were also executing incredibly high-level tasks. ChatGPT could explain complex science to a struggling student, write functional software code for a developer, summarize entire books in seconds, draft professional business emails, generate viable business ideas, and translate languages with stunning accuracy. This massive leap forced businesses everywhere to start experimenting immediately. It was a real game changer that disrupted traditional workflows overnight. Chapter 5: The Global AI Race. Integration happened practically overnight as major companies massively ramped up their investments just to keep up. I mean, look at this breakdown. In search engines, we saw enhanced conversational query responses rapidly replacing those traditional blue links we're all used to. In software, automated programming tools began actively co-writing code with human developers. Healthcare started deploying massive models for advanced medical research, while education aggressively pivoted toward personalized AI learning platforms. It touched absolutely everything. Let's move to and see how this builds. What once seemed like a highly niche academic research field totally transformed into the world's most important technological arms race. The pace of algorithmic innovation reached historic speeds. Major tech giants were rushing to release competing neural networks and large language models week after week after week. The genie was officially out of the bottle. Finally, Chapter 6: The Unwritten Future. But even as these systems become more capable and reliable, that original mission is still front and center. Researchers are working tirelessly on studying the safety, the ethics, and the responsible use of this incredibly powerful technology. They're still trying to navigate exactly how society should manage these advanced computational tools as they become fundamentally baked into our everyday lives. It's a huge undertaking. So, as we look at the next 10 years, a massive question remains. Will AI accelerate scientific discoveries and solve our most pressing global challenges? Or will it introduce profound new risks that require unprecedented global management? One thing is absolutely certain for sure. Artificial intelligence is completely reshaping how we learn, how we work, how we create, and how we communicate. We are all witnessing history in real time. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep questioning the future.